It's Sunday, it's the Sunday before council meeting, so I'm here to go over my agenda one last time, get my questions finalized for public comments tomorrow during comments, and see if there's any last minute things that may be lingering that I may want to ask. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is re-review the agenda. So I did see the agenda earlier this week when it was posted. It came out. They did send us a notification, so I did get a chance to already read it. So what I'm going to do today is go through it one last time, see it looks like there was an amendment, make sure there's nothing that has changed, and prepare my questions that I need to ask tomorrow, as well as probably email some to the city manager. I think there were some questions that are still left unanswered, and then go from there. Looking at the agenda, I just kind of want to review. There are some things I'm limited due to Brown Act, so I can't really discuss my opinion on anything without open dialogue, as the Brown Act does limit what we can discuss publicly prior to agendized items. So looking at this, it looks like there are a few things on here that just so I make sure you're aware of what's going on and what we're going to be discussing tomorrow at the council meeting. So looking on here, it looks like we're just going to be going over some sewer rehabilitation project. It looks like it's been completed, so hopefully everyone on that lane got the improvements that they needed. It also looks like Ochoa Park Phase 2. The contractor is stating they're complete and that they're asking for the rest of the balance to be paid out. I also see it looks like an application for a grant. Looks like a couple grants for 80% for construction. So 8 different projects. So it looks like it would be an 80% funding through a couple different grants. We would obviously have to be responsible for the other 20%. Uni services for it says sale use and tax audit recovery audits. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, so I'll probably be asking some questions about that. It also looks like some changes in planning departments. So if you are involved in planning, I know Ann Montgomery retired last week. Yeah, it's been already a week. So again, there's some discussions about changing that from a administrative secretary to a planning technician position. Some planning services or contract for planning services. So I'm gonna probably ask some more details about that. And lastly, it looks like there's some kind of quality of life vision. I'm a little confused on that one. A resolution just regarding the truck stop hub and outdoor music venue. And I think that was pretty clear, I thought initially on my vote. I think there was some confusion on there, but right now under our current planning ordinance, it doesn't allow amplified music. And so they came across initially stating that this was going to be a music venue. And again, this was already discussed on agendized items, so I am able to discuss it. And so reason for this appeal was, well, I know some people brought up parking, which was a very legitimate, and I appreciate, I think it was John Warren that brought that up, but I can also see where there could be issues with a lot more parking or food vendors, and then the employees bringing vehicles, and then visitors as well. The consumption of alcohol also is deemed as safety, but the amplified noise, although I really like the idea because I really want to move the food hubs that we currently have in the city into one centralized idea. I prefer to have them on one centralized location and not spread out all over the city, especially when we have already food locations in those areas, such as restaurants or fast food. I don't think we necessarily need to have another food hub in that parking lot or across the street from a restaurant. I do like the idea that they're in a centralized area with certain services such as bathrooms, water to wash their hands, including the employees having restrooms and water. So I like the idea of having the food hubs for those reasons. And I like the variety because now you can have 4 or 5, even 10 or 17 different kind of food items, and you're not limited to just whatever's in that area. And for me, I live in District 2, which is the other side of the freeway, the food hub, because we're able to bring in, at this case, it looks like there was about 8 different food options that were available. Surprised that this moved as far as it did, being that it didn't necessarily come in compliance with our ordinances. And I think that's the biggest issue that I had with this, was the fact that of the amplified music, and then obviously the parking, and then the fact that my residents on my side of town came to the council meeting and reached out to me and said, hey, I don't want this. And that's huge. Our food ordinance, our mobile food ordinance is available online. So if you want to go online and read our mobile ordinance, free to read it. I encourage you to read it, especially if you have questions regarding the vote. We currently have 3 mobile food hubs currently in the city. So one is the Service Road one that just recently opened. We have El Momentito, who opened a while ago, and they do have some external hours as well where they have their food open. And then we have the one that was approved, I think about 2 planning commissions ago, the one that's going to be out by Farmer Boys. So that would bring one on the other side of town right off the freeway. I have a problem with a 4th one if it's brought forward correctly and in compliance with our ordinances and a location that is going to be well served by the community. So ultimately that's what I look at, and those were my decisions, and ultimately that is why I voted the way I voted. I think we are ready. I sent my questions over to the city manager. I don't know if I'll be able to meet with him before the council meeting, so I will have my questions ready. If you have anything for me, please reach out. The agenda is online. It also has a supporting packet. I encourage you to go online because the packet is 198 pages. So you usually only have one in a binder at the council meeting in the back. If you want to read 198 pages, I encourage you to read it in advance so that you're fully aware of what's going on, as well as the backup information, because I think that's important as well. But I appreciate your questions and your comments. Always feel free to reach out to me. I am here to serve the community. Thank you.